Look, have you ever stared at a blinking cursor in an AI chat window, typed out a request, and then just stared in sheer frustration at the wildly off-base response you got back? Well, you are definitely not alone. So many of us are using these incredibly powerful tools like basic outdated search engines, completely missing out on their actual potential. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're transforming you from a casual AI user into an intentional prompt engineer. We are going to dive into a masterclass based on Anthropic's AI Fluency framework, and I'm going to share the actual cheat codes you need to get exactly what you want every single time you interact with generative AI.
Okay, let's dive into the syllabus. We'll be starting off with the foundation of AI fluency, moving into the mechanics of Gen AI, and then covering designing prompts, chain of thought, few-shot learning, and finally, evaluating AI.
Section 1. The foundation of AI fluency, working effectively and safely with AI.
Before we can even think about writing the perfect prompt, we have to understand what it actually means to be fluent in artificial intelligence. True AI fluency means working with these systems in ways that are effective, efficient, ethical, and safe. Anthropic breaks this holistic mindset down into what they call the 4Ds. Think of this as the chronological story of a single human-AI interaction. First up, delegation. You have a goal, and you have to strategically decide which parts of the task you're going to do and which you're distributing to the AI. Once you've delegated, you move to description. This is where you step in and communicate, defining exactly what you want the AI to produce and how it should behave. Then comes discernment, critically evaluating the output the AI gives you, actively hunting for logical errors. And the final chapter, diligence. This is where you take ethical accountability for the final product, making sure you maintain transparency about the AI's role before you actually deploy that work into the real world. This right here illustrates a massive shift in how we work. We're moving away from mere automation, that old way where you just give a specific instruction and a machine blindly executes it. Instead, true AI fluency relies on augmentation, humans and AI collaborating as active thinking partners. It's this continuous, iterative back and forth where both of you are contributing to the final outcome. You aren't just assigning tasks anymore. You are collaborating with a digital colleague. Section 2. Mechanics of Generative AI, Understanding the Engine. To truly collaborate, you kind of need to know how your partner's brain works, right? And the word you really need to know here is parameters. Large language models don't read words the way you and I do. They actually process the relationships between pieces of language using mathematical values. These parameters are basically the building blocks that determine how the AI relates different concepts to each other. And modern LLMs, they don't just have a few of these. They contain billions of them. When you type a prompt, your words are literally being mathematically mapped across billions of data points to generate the most probable, helpful response. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that we can actually control that mathematical generation process through a concept called temperature. In the AI world, temperature is a setting that controls just how random an AI's responses are going to be. Think of it as a dial you can turn up or down depending on the specific task you've delegated. Anthropic provides an absolutely fantastic metaphor for this. If you turn the temperature up high, imagine a pot of boiling water bubbling. The molecules are moving incredibly fast and unpredictably. High temperature produces varied, highly creative, and honestly sometimes surprising outputs. It's amazing for brainstorming or creative writing. But if you turn that temperature down low, imagine ice crystals forming. The structure becomes highly predictable and tightly focused. Low temperature is exactly what you want when you need the AI to write functional code or analyze complex financial data. You simply adjust the temperature to match your task. Section 3, Designing Effective AI Prompts, Crafting Your Communication. So, prompt engineering is the practice of combining really clear communication with AI-specific techniques to guarantee you get exactly the outputs you want. We are moving way beyond just saying write an email and stepping into highly strategic communication. And one of the most powerful tools in your toolkit is persona definition. Instead of just asking for a basic explanation, try typing, "Explain this like Richard Feynman would." By specifying a character or even a distinct level of expertise, you force the AI to adopt a specific communication style. You aren't just getting an answer. You're getting an answer framed through the exact lens of a brilliant, quirky physicist who is famous for making complex things super simple. Ask it to be a strict UX design expert or a supportive kindergarten tutor. The persona sets the initial boundaries of the response. And that's absolutely crucial. You have to define the boundaries. You do this through output constraints. When you design your prompt, you must clearly specify the desired format, the exact length, and the structure. Do you want a 3-paragraph essay, a bulleted list, or maybe a comma-separated data table? Combining a specific persona with very strict output formatting pretty much guarantees you get exactly what you need on the very first try, completely eliminating that super frustrating back and forth we talked about at the beginning. Let's move to and see how this builds in Section 4. Mastering chain of thought steps, the think first approach. Okay, this brings us to our first major cheat code. Chain of thought prompting is a technique that elevates your prompts from basic instructions to advanced logical reasoning. Here's how it works. First, you provide the AI with a complex task. Second, and this is the absolute magic step, you explicitly ask the AI to use a think first approach. You literally type out, think step by step before answering. So say you ask an AI to evaluate if a company is a good investment based on a really dense quarterly financial report. Telling it to map out its logic first forces the AI to output its reasoning milestones. It might first list the revenues, then the expenses, and then calculate the margins before it ever gives you the final summary. You are literally forcing the AI to show its work, which drastically reduces errors and vastly improves its logical output.
Section 5. Leveraging few-shot learning, teaching by example.
Now for our second major cheat code. Few-shot learning, which is also known as N-shot prompting, is probably the biggest time-saving technique in this entire masterclass. It's a method where you teach the AI exactly what you want by showing it clear examples of the desired input-output pattern. The N just refers to the number of examples you provide. For instance, if you want the AI to quickly categorize a flood of incoming customer feedback, you don't write some massive rule book explaining what counts as a bug or a compliment. No, instead, you just show it. You type input, the app keeps crashing, output, technical issue. Input, I love the new design, output, positive feedback. The AI is unbelievably good at recognizing and mimicking these exact patterns instantly.
Most people out there are just using zero-shot prompting. They provide instructions, but zero examples, and they basically just cross their fingers and hope the AI interprets their words exactly how they meant them. N-shot prompting completely changes the game. You provide the instructions, followed by those clear input-output examples we just looked at. This fundamentally alters the AI's understanding. You get to skip all the lengthy, complicated instructions and anchor the AI's response in your exact desired reality. It is the ultimate shortcut to precision. Section 6. Evaluating your AI collaborator. Diligence and accountability. So, we've covered how to command the AI, but our workflow isn't actually complete until we review the results. We are returning to the discernment phase of our 4Ds framework. And why is this evaluation so absolutely critical? Because of a phenomenon called hallucination. A hallucination is a specific type of error where the AI confidently states something that sounds entirely plausible, but is completely factually incorrect. Remember, the AI is generating text based on mathematical probabilities of what word should come next, so it can occasionally string together a very convincing lie. This is exactly why you cannot just blindly trust the output. You have to critically evaluate the product for accuracy and appropriateness before you ever consider using it. Which brings us to a crucial question I want to leave you with today. How will you honestly vouch for the AI-assisted work you deploy? Because true AI fluency doesn't end with a clever prompt or a really great chain of thought process. It ends with accountability. You are the one deploying this work into your company, your classroom, or your community. These cheat codes give you the power to generate incredible things, but it's your diligence that ensures that power is used safely and responsibly. So as you start utilizing these frameworks to augment your own intelligence, I want you to ask yourself, how are you taking ownership of the final product?